This is Mike Lugar reporting for Film Police Portland. I'm in a car riding home from the federal courthouse with Mr. Roger Hardesty, and he's got a story to tell. So how did I get you in trouble?
In an earlier work, which is available on YouTube, I saw you documenting the treatment of a person on Mac's platform. Mm-hmm. And once you had complied with all of their orders, you went and used an expletive at the public servant.
The F-bomb, yes. The dropping of the F-bomb, yes.
Yeah. And I thought, at first, well, that's kind of rude. And then I thought, no, that's the First Amendment. He actually can do that, right?
Right.
Our free speech is protected.
Right. F the police has literally been upheld by the Supreme Court, by the way.
So today,
the mayor's getting his behind chewed by a federal judge today, correct? Yes.
When an officer, a federal marshal, intervenes on me at the moment I'm signing up to testify, and Judge Simon has already said, I want to hear from Mrs. Hardesty, and I know that Mr. Hardesty supplied written testimony. So I have not been able to testify at all. The boards and committees that are responsible for taking public input in police policy development are all shut down.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of excited about this. I'm now about to sign up and get my day in court to be able to speak on behalf of people who've been illegally policed. Mm-hmm. And a marshal comes up and puts his arm on my bicep, and he's like, "You're creating a disturbance," and starts to try to intimidate me
while you're merely signing up. That's
right.
It.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, "Who are you?" He's in civilian clothes. He's wearing a turtleneck. He looks like he's out of some store window. And
a GQ swine. Okay.
Oh, I should probably turn there. And that's when he explains that he's a marshal and he's there to create order. And I actually hadn't been in any disorder. I was merely waiting for the court clerk to organize the sign-up sheet.
Right.
And so how you come into it is that my second response was, you don't, I think it was,
who the F are you?
You don't have any fucking power over me. Right. Which apparently I was wrong, because I later end up on the floor in handcuffs.
Wow, so they from informing him that he doesn't have power over you, he immediately goes to violence.
Wow. Yes, there was, okay, and here's what your viewers will really like, is that it was a kind of a roundtable discussion as the Department of Justice and the city attorneys presented their cases about whether or not the city's in compliance with
the DOJ,
with oversight on illegal use of force, a settlement agreement that's supposed to remedy that.
Right.
And one of the things that Judge Simon brings up is the city addresses a First Amendment issue, and that they need to be able to figure out, with the court's permission, how to arrest people that aren't participating in the ways that the white man wants. You know.
Right.
So the judge opens up a discussion on that, and he goes, I need you and the Department of Justice Civil Rights Division team to get together and to figure that out. And he goes into, he maybe spends 2 or 3 minutes on this, that First Amendment is crucial.
Right.
And you guys need to figure out how to accommodate it. And so, okay, so like we were all supposed to have a powwow on like how not to suppress free speech, but I wasn't present for that, because as I went to sign up to testify, I was suppressed.
Wow. Can you tell me about your acquisition of legal representation?
Yes,
right there?
That's pretty cool.
This is hilarious, folks. You're going to love this.
I realized I just went limp, right? I did
Yeah,
Not
passive resistance is legal in Oregon. You can lay there and make the cop work for a living and have him carry you.
Yeah, and boy, did you hear him groan. It was like, oh, man, I'm going to have to go get 4 other guys. And so this is creating a disturbance. And so I'm laying there on the floor, and they're all conniving on how they're going to get me out of there, because it's just embarrassing to have the guy who was the model. Joanne and I developed the model on which COAB is built. So
right, and that's our police accountability process.
The Community Oversight Advisory Board, which was supposed to be the public involvement mechanism,
right,
which is being suppressed by the city.
Right.
So, so I just yell, I need a lawyer. And to her credit, the public defender, the federal public defender, was in the room just to see how this dog and pony show was going to go down.
So what's her name?
I have her card.
Okay. But so
she's replaced Stephen Wax.
So the woman that's in charge of all of the public defenders in the state.
No, at federal level.
The federal level. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's there. She has one of the Malheur defendants on her docket, right? But
so
apparently she's not in court right
So
now.
she took your case?
So she walks over and she's like, can we just, can you just uncuff him? And first she was like, do you want to go away into a different room? I'm like, no, not particularly. I want to go back and lay on the floor. Make them drag me out. And so she realizes that she's kind of got a wacko for a client. But
right.
I give her this credit, because in a later debrief where she repeatedly told me to stop talking to the cops, which
is the best advice a lawyer could ever give anyone.
Yes, video as well.
Yeah.
Well, I said, one of my values in life is to be fully present. Is when the moment calls, and I admire that about cop watchers. Right? Is you show up.
Yeah. We talk the talk and we walk the walk and we do it.
Right. So I again admire cop watchers.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it
for that. So I credited her with that. She could have just slipped out the back of the courtroom going, well, that guy's on his own. I mean, she had no,
That's awesome. That's I bet it's the quickest legal representation on record. Like while the arrest is going on.
Right? Because they brought me into a little private room where, so that, the decorous proceedings of the federal court could go on. And, because they were in 10-minute break. And, so it was kind of interesting is that the cops, they've got their routines for interrogation, and I was just turned to her and go, so should I comply with that? And finally, one of the federal guys, he's Homeland Security or CFS, what was that?
Yeah, I was excluded from the building earlier because they didn't like the use of the word a-hole.
Right. And what agency was that?
That was U.S. Marshal at the door, and I complied with his ID. He lied to me. He lied to Federal Homeland Security. He told Homeland Security that I didn't provide him ID, but I walked up, put my ID in the bowl, and I just simply asked him, why do I have to provide ID when I come in here? He's all, it's written on the door. And he just acted very indignant from the very get-go. And the FTP Portland policy is quite simply, if they're rude, I'm going to be rude right back. So I called him an a-hole. Right. But last time I checked, federal judges say the F-bomb, F the police, those are constitutionally protected rights. So I was never given a lawful order to leave the building. I was threatened and intimidated. I even went to Homeland Security a number of minutes later and said, I've been told to leave the building, but no one has given me a lawful order or any kind of reason. So I had them walk in and talk to the federal marshals, and still no one gave me a reason. I was told, I asked the officer's name, the Federal Protective Service Homeland Security fellow, what's your name? As he walked away from me, and he's all, the federal government. Right. And I went, you mean the federal government tyrannical asshole, and then walked away. I stood there and demanded that they arrest me for a few minutes, and then I texted my lawyer, and my lawyer texts back and says, well, this is not going to be good for your cases. It's going to make it harder to defend. Yeah, so I have pending stuff. So Normally, I would have stuck to my guns. I would love to be arrested for using an expletive in a federal courthouse. I mean, if I'm not in a judge's chamber, they have no right to do that to me. But, you know, you got to pick your battles, and sometimes you just got to listen to your lawyer as an activist. You have to weigh it in your mind. And, you know, I think the point was made that they're tyrannical bastards. They can't handle... Blue egos really do matter. He can't handle being called an asshole, so he had to lie and call... The federal marshal did. He had to lie and call Homeland Security and say that I refuse to surrender ID. Homeland Security actually asked me for my ID. I'm not going to give it to you. He's like, why not? I'm all, well, do you have reasonable articulable suspicion that I committed a crime? He's like, well, we're determining that. I'm like, well, you go in there and figure that out, you know. But like, you know, wow. So while the mayor is being chewed for the COAB, we have one of the architects of COAB here being led away in handcuffs for quote-unquote creating a disturbance. What? That's just crazy.
During a recess, by the way.
During a recess, right. So how do you cause a disturbance during a recess? But would you would you pull around?
Yeah. You better not get yourself in trouble.
I won't. There's just somebody in handcuffs over there. Oh no, no, he's not.
Recording, Mike.
What's up?
I'm recording. I'm obligated to let you know.
Right on, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you following Portland Police Bureau's policy. Mike Bluehair reporting for Film the Police Portland. I'm out in front of the Plaid Pantry. This is First Street, right, madam?
Get in your fucking car!
What'd you say?
This is First Street, correct? Okay, this is First Street, and the time is 5:24, Tuesday, October 25th. And they're asking if this guy will consent to go with medical.
Right.
Fucking detox.
Okay with us. I don't think it's...
He wants to go with Cheers. He said that.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. What do you do?
I'm a police accountability activist. I film the police to make sure that they're doing everything honestly and don't hurt anyone.
You work for a newspaper?
No, ma'am. I work for the people. I do it as a community service. Well, he consented to go to medical, so hopefully he gets the help he needs.
Alright. Thanks, guys.
Thank you guys for helping that guy get mental help.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too. Wait. Thank you.
You're welcome. It was a mental health call, Roger. And he did consent to go with him. But it's always